From the Gold Coast in Ventura, California, it's time for the Napa Auto Parts Auto Trader Magazine's SCRA Sprint Cars. Hi everybody, this is J.R. Ibarra. Welcome to Ventura Raceway, where we are set to go 30 laps of action with the SCRA on this great little fifth of a mile oval. Now this racetrack is quite different from the facilities that most of these drivers race on during the year, and racers such as Levi Jones finds it a big challenge.
Yeah, I came here one time before, I think it's about a month ago. We didn't qualify too well, started in the back of the field, like 18th, I think, and got up to 3rd. So, you know, maybe we can qualify better tonight and start close to the front, stay out front.
Obviously, it's a track that's a little bit different than what you might be used to.
Yeah, I mean, it's really a racer's track. I mean, the horsepower and stuff really doesn't come into play. I mean, you got to be on your toes and look as far ahead of you as you can, but it's definitely fun.
You're with the Krosno team tonight. What are you guys expecting?
I mean, things are going well with Glenn and everybody. It's real fun to go racing with these guys, and we're really looking forward to the end of the year here and even on into the future.
Vern Sweeney is certainly considered one of the seasoned veterans with the SCRA, and he also tells us about the challenge of racing a high horsepowered sprinter at such a tight little racetrack.
Tell us about racing at Ventura. Obviously, this is such a unique place to drive a sprint car.
It is. It really works you. I mean, it's tight. It puts a big demand on you, way worse than the big tracks. The big tracks are nice because you got a lot of room to move around and so forth, but this little place here, you got to be on your toes and really pay attention. You got to look ahead a lot more on this racetrack than you would at most others because it is small. This one, Santa Maria, there's a couple small tracks that they're demanding.
How do you strategize for a race of this length with so many cars that could be in front of you or behind you?
You just pay attention. That's your strategy, really. You really have to watch ahead. I mean, you're in a situation to where you just can't go for it completely, but yet you have to in a way. You really just have to pay attention, look down the track, and make sure your path is clear that you're trying to pick to move with.
What is it that you're expecting for this race? Obviously, there's so many cars here tonight.
Yeah, there is. There's quite a few. I think there's around 49 or so. It's a good turnout for Napa and Auto Trader Magazine for our series sponsors and all that. And I think we're just gonna do just fine. We're gonna be on the gas and go forward.
Showtime Danny Sheridan sits qualified 3rd for tonight's main. He's looking for a possible podium finish here at Ventura.
Yeah, we always like coming to Ventura. It's a nice little racetrack, little racy place, and sometimes you're good and sometimes you're bad. And right now the coin's tossing our way, and we've got heads all the way up, so we're going to stay with it. We're 3rd quick, and it looks like it's going to stand right now, so we're going to go out and give her a heck tonight.
Talk about this facility. Obviously, this is so different to race at this track compared to what you guys do during the season.
Yeah, this is a quick little racetrack. Usually, we got big, long straightaways where we get going and we pick up some speed, and you got to really judge corners. This place, you're sideways quite often, and you got to be on your game. The car's got to be almost 100% to get you up front, especially with SCRA. I mean, these guys, you got Griffin and Cruzman and guys like that they know this place, and to come in here and be able to run with them and put a top 5 qualifying position, and hopefully we'll be able to do the same through the main, keep in the top 3, and then we got the WAGs dash tonight too. So we got 2 big main events to run tonight, and hopefully we'll be up on the podium at the end of both of them.
Tonight's telecast of the SCRA is being brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. We keep America running. By Auto Trader Magazines, the used car source. And by J.E. Pistons. By TCR Performance, your leader in sprint car chassis and components. Spintech Performance Mufflers. By SprintCars.com. And by SimpsonRaceProducts.com. SCRA, America's premier sprint car series, is on the World Wide Web. Join us at www.scra.com. There you'll find a ton of information on this great racing series. You can also find some great merchandise and find out how to be a member for only $30 a year. Join us at SCRA.com and be a part of America's best sprint car racing. Get unlimited internet access through World Access. For only $19.95 a month, you can have such accessories as Voxmail, where you can check your email by phone. Call us toll-free to order at 877-680-1698, where if you call and mention this ad with SCRA TV, the $15.95 sign-up fee is waived. Or go online to world-access.com. World Access, your premier internet solution. Welcome back to Ventura Raceway, where we are set to rumble for 30 laps of action with the Napa Auto Parts Auto Trader Magazine's SCRA Sprint Cars. If you've never had a chance to see sprinters here, this is a great place to watch it up close and personal. Well, let's now take a look at our SpinTech starting grid for the night. It's an all-Jory team on the front row with Mike English and Rip Williams. Showtime Danny Sheridan and Rodney Argo make up row number 2. On row 3, it is the local guy, Corey Kruisman, along with Cowboy Tony Jones. In row number 4, it's the youngster Josh Wise, along with the demon Damian Gardner. In row number 5, it will be Mike Spencer with a good qualifying effort tonight, along with Super Ricky Gunt. Casey Schumann and Dan HILLBERG will occupy row number 6. In row number 7, it will be the gas man Richard Griffin, along with Gary W. Howard. In row number 8, it will be Adam Mitchell, along with local Greg Taylor, who's part of the 360 group here at Ventura. In row number 9, it will be Steve Osling along with Brian Stanfield, and Jimmy Crawford along with Chris Tramel. A couple of other 360 racers here at Ventura Raceway will occupy the 10th and final row. We're set to go green here at Ventura as we are under green. Already heading into turn 2, it looks like Rip Williams will take the lead as they come down the back straightaway, headed into 3, followed by Mike English, and Rodney Argo climbs over English in his right rear, sends us to caution, and brings this race to a halt. Not even one lap completed, so that will most likely mean a complete restart here. Let's take a second look at what takes place. You see Argo climbing that rear rail and sends him into orbit momentarily. So let's get ourselves lined up back to green right now. Once again, it's the Ripper, Rip Williams, as they come out of 2. Headed down into 3. Everybody looks clean so far as they come down out of 4. We have another slowing car. Josh Wise comes to a halt in turn number 4. It looks like he has a punctured right rear. Takes us to a caution, will also take us to a break. We'll be back with more with the SCRA from Ventura Raceway right after these words. Stay with us. Well, let's see if third time is a charm as we go back to green for the 3rd time tonight for another complete restart here at Ventura Raceway. So far in the first couple of starts, as you see both of the Jory cars with a little bit of a wheel stand down in the back straightaway there, but it's been Rip Williams as they come across the stripe. Looks like we finally have one in the books. Mike English is running in 2nd. So it's a 1-2 effort here for the Jory Racing team, followed by Showtime Danny Sheridan and Cowboy Tony Jones. It is also Corey Kruisman and Damian Gardner rounding out your top 5 runners here at Ventura. As we mentioned, only a 1/5 of a mile oval here at Ventura Raceway, so these racers are usually sideways most of the way, as you see Showtime Danny Sheridan stumbling just a bit out of 2. Mike English continuing to run 2nd. There we have a look at our speed shot coming down the main straightaway here at Ventura. Now we see the likes of Gardner and Corey Kruisman going at it. But as we were saying, this tiny little 1/5 of a mile oval, as we are now 5 laps into this 30-lap main, provides a lot of action, wheel to wheel, side by side, a lot of bumping and bagging you'll see here tonight, most likely here at Ventura. Once again, a quick look at our speed shot just to give you a perspective of just how fast these guys can get going on such a tiny little facility. Kruisman now working on Sheridan as they come out of 4. Sheridan kind of used to these small little bull rings as he has spent a couple of successful seasons up at Santa Maria, which is also a very tiny little facility. Cowboy Tony Jones now racing along with Ricky Gunt, who's gotten by Damian Gardner. So he's trying to race for position with Tony Jones. Gunt trying to go down low on the inside. Jones taking it high out of 4. He'll continue on in that 5th spot. Gunt looking to the inside. We go back up front to the 3rd position. Once again, we're now 10 laps into this one. Things get going pretty quick here at Ventura Raceway as we have 20 laps remaining in this 30-lap main. Gunt now, having gotten around Jones, now trying to track down Corey Kruisman. Kruisman still working on Danny Sheridan as they come out of 2. Corey Kruisman Kruzman. Obviously, this is a home track advantage for him, if you will. We go back up front, and now Rip Williams is already facing lap traffic. Greg Stanfield in the 14 sprinter, just ahead of Williams, as Williams takes it high into 1. We have a car slowing out at 2. Looks like Jimmy Crawford has lost his right front wheel. That'll take us to caution as Sheridan has spun. Brings us to a momentary halt and takes us to break. We'll be back with more from Ventura Raceway right after these words. Back to Ventura Raceway. We've had a little bit of a change here with Showtime Danny Sheridan having spun there in 2. That sends him to the back of the pack as we are back to green. Rip Williams continues to be your leader, followed by Mike English. There you see the pack coming across the stripe there with the speed shot. They're stacking up in 3. Gary W. Howard goes over. We are under red flag condition. And it looks like Adam Mitchell and Steve Osling have locked Nerf bumpers. They are just pushing and pulling themselves right into the infield. So obviously we're going to have to halt this one and clean up the mess here, as Gary W. Howard is being tended to by the rescue crew. He appears to be A-OK, so no harm, no foul. But that will send us to break once again. We'll be back with more action. Well, we have cleaned up our latest mess here in Ventura. Gary W. Howard was A-OK in that latest mishap. Adam Mitchell and Steve Osling are now back into this race as well, as we are back to green with Rip Williams continuing to be your leader, followed up by his teammate Mike English. Corey Kruzman has popped himself into 3rd after Danny Sheridan had spun a couple of laps previous. Ricky Gott now working the top side out of 4. And you see such a great race going on between Kruzman, Gant, and Cowboy Tony Jones as they take it out of 4. Jones now looking to the inside. Can't get enough to make it stick. Gant still trying to look to the inside of Kruzman. Dan Hillberg with a nice run along with Mike Spencer. While the battle rages behind all these racers, you see Mike English and Rip Williams beginning to distance themselves just a little bit with the sprinters behind them. Continues to be a great run between Gant and Jones. Kruzman solidly in the 3rd position as well. With a couple of podiums so far. Hillberg and Spencer now heading into 1. And Corey Kruzman, the local boy here out of Ventura, and we have a slowing car on the front. Adam Mitchell is on his top, and we are once again under a red flag condition. There was a slowing race car along the main straightaway, and it appears that Mitchell climbed the wheel of another sprinter, sent him over the top. He's moving around and being tended to already, so that's good news. But once again, that will bring us to a halt here at Ventura Raceway, as we will have to step aside for a break to clean up this mess. We have more coming your way right after these words. Back to green here at Ventura Raceway, where Rip Williams continues to be your leader. He has been since the drop of the initial green. Adam Mitchell, by the way, just to give you an update, was A-OK in our latest little spill here at Ventura Raceway. As we mentioned early on in this event, bumping and banging is kind of the norm here at this little racetrack, and you really can't help it. As you see, even Tony Jones, his rear nerve bar is kind of crunched down just a little bit underneath that fuel tank. Ricky Gant once again working topside against Corey Kruzman as they come out of 4. Corey Kruzman obviously with a lot of laps here at Ventura Raceway, with his home track, as well as this is the facility that he runs his sprint car driving school from on just about a weekly basis. TRAMEL gets sideways. We have cars stacking up out of 4. Richard Crippen pops out of that one miraculously. But once again, we are under caution. Danny Sheridan, Steve Osling, Greg Stanfield, and Chris TRAMEL all come to a halt right out of turn 4. Looks like there's enough damage that Osling is going to leave his race car. Why don't we take a second look at just how this one formulated. They were coming out of 3. You'll see TRAMEL here get it very sideways, T-boned by Sheridan, who gets hit by Griffin and Osling and Stanfill, and Griffin takes off and runs off without these guys. Well, we have things cleaned up and ready to rumble now. We only have 7 laps remaining in this race, and it continues to be Rip Williams, who's had a fairly commanding time of it so far here in this race. Mike English now been working harder on the rear nerve bar of his teammate. Williams looking for his 57th career SCRA victory tonight. Side by side now with his teammate in English. The Jory cars take it out of 4 with Kruzman in hot pursuit. Kruzman now trying to look to the inside of English. English trying to look to the inside of Williams. Kruzman now going to go top side as they come out of 4. And English will slam the door on him. English once again, right on the tail of Williams. Kruzman once again going to try that cushion. To no avail, and English once again slams the door on him. Kruzman now going to look to the inside. No, decides to check up. Brings it down low, and now Ricky Gott's going to go top side out of 4. Gott now going top side. Let's see if he can get a run on Kruzman. No, not this time. The battle continues to rage. Gott, and now Jones getting himself into the mix. Kruzman now looking again to the inside of English. And with all that happening, Rip Williams continues to dominate the race. In fact, we will have 1 lap to go. Coming across the stripe, English once again shutting the door on Kruzman. Williams comes out at 2, takes it down the back straightaway. Opens up a little bit of an advantage. Coming out of 4, he's already waving to the crowd, and he gets the victory tonight here at Ventura Raceway. So Rip Williams takes victory number 57 in his career, comes up on the podium. We'll have a chance to talk to him as we'll step aside from this break. You've been watching the SCRA from Ventura Raceway. Tonight's telecast of SCRA action is being brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. We keep America running. And by Auto Trader Magazines, the used car source. By Spintech Performance Mufflers. If it sounds too good to be true, it must be Spintech. And by JE Pistons. TCR Performance, your leader in sprint car chassis and components. SimpsonRaceProducts.com. And by SprintCars.com. Well, here's a look at your TCR Performance finishing order for the night. Rip Williams and Mike English make it a 1-2 punch for the Jory team, with Corey Kruzman coming in 3rd, followed by Ricky Gott, Gasman Richard Griffin in the 5th spot, Tony Jones in 6th, Rodney Argo running 7th, Dan Hillberg in 8th, Casey Schumann in 9th, and Brian Stanfill rounding out your top 10 spots here at Ventura. Damian Gardner running 11th, Mike Spencer, Chris Trammell, Danny Sheridan, Steve Osling, all running in your top 15. Followed up by Adam Mitchell, Greg Taylor, Gary W. Howard, Jimmy Crawford, and the youngster Josh Wise with a disappointing finish tonight after setting quick time. But it's the Jory team celebrating in the Auto Trader Magazine's victory circle, so let's have a conversation with Rip Williams.
Rip, a great 1-2 punch for the Jory team tonight.
Yeah, you know, we've been thinking about this for a long time and hoping someday we'd put this together. And after the dash, I thought maybe Mikey was going to be the one, but I was able to beat him in the corner and take off. I got a little loose towards the end. He was a little better at the end. So, you know, I had one heck of a race. It's great for John Jory and Tamarco and AMA Plastics and Weld Wheels. I mean, without all them, you know, this isn't possible.
This is no surprise because you've been banging on that door all season long. You've had a lot of top 5s and top 3s over the past few races.
Yeah, you know, most people that watch all the races know, you know, we had probably a chance to win 5 or 6 of them at least. We had flat tires leading races and a couple laps to go and things like that. But, you know, we just kept plugging away, and I got a great crew. They never gave up on me, and John Jory and Sheridan Jory's never given up on me, and I'm really thankful to have them as a sponsor and be associated with them.
Well, tonight's action with the SCRA also included the 2002 running of the Wags Dash. where all of the hard luck racers who have competed here in the SCRA finally get a chance to shine in their own 20-lap main event. Dan Tedrick led the pack at the drop of the green, and already the sparks were flying with bumping and banging going on. David Sinsley already getting himself sideways early in the race. As it progresses, Bobby Cody goes for a wild ride and decides to take some other racers with him. But Showtime Danny Sheridan streaks around Steve Bernard as they come out at 2. That would give him the lead early on in this 20-lap main event. That final pass was essentially for the lead as well as for the victory, as Showtime Danny Sheridan brings it across the stripe and gets $2,500 for the victory. He celebrates in Victory Circle with his entire team, and later on we had a chance to talk to Showtime.
I want to get a shot with
Danny, not a bad way to end off the night.
No, not at all. We had a great race car all night long. We qualified good, ran heat race good, ran the dash good, main event. We were running good, running third. We had a little trouble in the other car, and that's racing. I mean, we got in, he got into us a little bit. He feels real bad about it. We went to the back and charged back up forward, and we knew we had a good car. Went back and got her ready for the Wags Dash, and we knew we were coming from the back a little bit, so to bring her up, and she got up against the fence, and she was moving.
I know you've been banging on the door all season long, and hard luck obviously has been part of this season for you guys, but this obviously is a great payoff.
Yeah, if it wasn't for bad luck, we wouldn't have any luck, but this, hopefully, I think this turned it around for us, so I'm really excited to get this car up in the winner's circle for Ron and the guys. I mean, they worked their butt off. They put the car out for me every single night. So without these guys, I wouldn't be able to be right here, and hopefully next week we go down there, we're going to be in a different car, but hopefully we'll be able to have the same results.
Who are the sponsors you got to thank for tonight?
I got to thank Ron DiDonato, Spin Tech, Wags for putting this whole thing on. I mean, without them, we wouldn't even be here. They collect the money all year round, and they put on a great chili feed, and if you weren't here tonight, you should come out next year. They do a great job of this. I got to thank Stinger Chassis. Without them, Blair, he put a motor under us a couple races ago, and if it wasn't for him, we'd still be in the shop. So without those guys, I mean, the hustle and the bustle they put through every week, Robbie, Lauren, Tom, I mean, Josh, all those guys, you can't thank them enough. So without any of those guys, they're always behind the picture a little bit, so I'd like to give those guys some credit too. So we had a good night.
All right, congratulations, Danny.
Thank you very much.
All right, Showtime Danny Sheridan, your Wags Dash winner for 2002.
Here's a quick look at your Wags Dash finishers for the year. Danny Sheridan, Gary W. Howard, Casey Schumann, Brian and Steve Bernard in your top 5, followed up by Sean Buckley, Vern Sweeney, Jack DeArmond Jr., Cal Smith, and Nick Lima in your top 10. It's Mark Heidenreich, Dan Hilbert, Bobby Cody, Jared Cheney, and Dan Tedrick in your top 15. Rick Zeal, Mal Murphy, Kevin Kearse, David Sinsley, and Brian Stanfield round out your top 20 runners here for the 2002 running of the Wags Dash. SCRA would like to thank these fine people for helping us to put on tonight's race. Without their assistance, it'd be hard to bring you this great action week after week. So from Ventura Raceway, this is J.R. Ibarra. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next week on SCRA TV.